Hello, friends.
And enemies.
Especially enemies. Because I want them to see how successful we are.
The best revenge is living well.
There you go. And also money.
The best revenge is living, well, money.
Just kidding. All right. Hey, everyone. Let's get this podcast rolling. I don't think we have too many other...
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Sword and Laser.
That would be a very
Veronica
casual
Belmont.
intro. That would be a super cash.
It was your same tone, though.
It was.
Just a cash version.
Oh, I am drinking... Hold on. What's it called? Apothic Red. Apothic Red.
Okay.
I was saying that, so maybe you would write it down. I'll write it down. Apothic Red.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's not your job. I just, I was being lazy.
I didn't really mean it.
Thanks. The 2021 Murderbot Hugo Awards. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's see. It's going to open this up in advance. Oh, China, huh? Okay.
Yeah. How?
Okay.
Worldcon.
I'm gonna pass.
I will say the two Mandarin words I know.
Ni hao ma. Xie xie.
Shida. How?
Okay.
Worldcon.
Okay. Ooh, 2020 reading log. What is that about?
It's a piece of wood.
Oh, you're the worst. You're the worst. All right, I'm ready. Hey, chat folks. Hello, Tamahome.
Tamahalome.
We got the Armut up here. Up in here. I've only had wine this time, so I'm in better shape than I was in our last episode.
You weren't that bad.
Good. What was I going to say?
Not bad at all.
This time went by really fast.
Yeah.
I felt like January 5th was so far away the last time we recorded, and now here we are.
And now, look at us.
Look at us now. Look at us now. In New Year.
And we'll be doing another one next week.
Oh,
to make
man.
up for skipping last week. Whoa. Dang.
Oh, yeah. 1.5 is like 420 if you reduce the fractions. Math. It's just math, man.
Yeah.
It's just math.
Yeah. It's a quarter of a 420.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Or if for fractions, it's literally the equivalent.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. And 3. Oh, it's clapping first. And 3.
Oh, we don't need to. Oh.
I don't know. 3, 2, 1. Tamahome clapped like the second I clapped.
That was amazing.
All right, and now we'll do a real show. 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sword and Laser. I'm Veronica Belmont.
And I'm Tom Merritt.
Sword and Laser is a book club, but it's so much more. We bring you author interviews, news from the world of science fiction and fantasy, and of course, awesome discussions from fans just like you.
And Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I can do that all day long, really.
Oh my god. How do you get to do... Hold on.
What?
That's so loud. So
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear it? Oh, it's not live.
No, it doesn't
okay,
come through my... Yeah,
Wait,
it doesn't come
on.
through my side.
Ready? Now it will.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear it now?
Yes. Let's keep it going. And then change it into that.
happening? Stop clapping. Okay.
Okay.
We have fun. We have fun here. That's what we do.
More fun.
Speaking of fun, what are you drinking, Tom?
I was having a St. Francis Anthem. It's a blend of St. Francis red wines. Quite delicious.
Excellent. I, too, am drinking red. I'm drinking Apothic Red, which is also a blend. So, and cheap.
Blends are in.
Yeah, in my mouth.
Blends are the 2022 drink of choice. Five days in.
Cheap red wines that you can easily acquire is the drink of 2022. That's right. So good to see all of you. Happy New Year. Happy to have you back for another year of Sword and Laser. Let's kick things off with the quick burns.
Now, the Hugo Awards happened years ago. It feels like at this point because we had a longer break because of the holidays. But congratulations to Martha Wells and the Hugo Award winner this year. A Sword and Laser pick. Network Effect was the book we read earlier this year with Rob Dunwood.
Yes.
So yeah, very exciting to have Martha win. She deserves it. It's a great book. Also, Best Novella, The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Agni Vo. Best Novelette, Two Truths and a Lie by Sarah Pinsker. Best Short Story, Metal Like Blood in the Dark by Kingfisher. And, of course, the list goes on of people.
I mean, Best Series, Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells.
Oh, right. That's worth pointing out because Martha had a twofer. Silvana and Mark both had comments about this on the Goodreads, so thank you for that. Appreciate it. And congratulations to everybody who won.
Oh, my gosh. That series lineup for the nominees for Best Series was just some of my favorites. We've got the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty, who we had on the show. The Interdependency by John Scalzi. The Lady Astronaut Universe by Mary Robinette Cole. And October Day by Shannon Maguire. And The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So a lot of good competition there. So major congrats to all the nominees in that category. And of course, Best Novel too had tons of great picks, tons of Sword and Laser picks. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, Piranesi by Susanna Clark, and The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. Also pointing out all female identifying writers for Best Novel this year.
Do you think we'll get The Expanse and The Jade Legacy in Best Series next time?
Oh, because they just finished?
They're both wrapped up? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Very cool. So great nominees and more things, as always, to add to your TBR. In other news, Ruth says that Chengdu, China has been selected as the host city for the 81st Worldcon in 2023. Yeah,
so that's related news because the Worldcon 2 years from now will be in Chengdu. That is certainly a bold choice.
Yes.
For many reasons. Scheduling Worldcons is fraught with peril in these times of COVID. By 2023, one might hope that we have cleared it up, but who knows? I'm certainly not going to say for sure. And then China having all kinds of issues on the world stage with people's opinions of it. Of course, they're going to host the Winter Olympics, so we'll maybe get a preview of world attitude toward that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Have you been to Chengdu?
No, I have never been to China, nor do I think I will. As I have been banned, my show has been banned in China. So I've always felt a little nervous about traveling there.
I did not know that. I did not know your show was banned in China.
Daily Tech News Show is blocked.
Well, I mean, we don't know. I have never checked to see if Sword and Laser is blocked. Is there a way to check that? I don't know how to check that. I have been to Chengdu. I did a food tour of China back in 2014, and I was there for 2 weeks in different cities. And Chengdu was actually one of my favorites. Sichuan province
Where
was one
is
of my
it
favorites.
in China?
Oh, I don't remember where it was in comparison to everything else that I was in. I went to like 7 different cities.
Because China, big old place.
It is big. I did not go that far. We were mostly on the west half of China.
Okay, so I'm looking at the map. It is on the west half of China in Sichuan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the farthest west you can get and still be in mainland China, depending on where you consider mainland China to end, which is part of the whole controversy about things.
I guess that's not true. I guess I was on both sides. Now, I'll have to look at this later because
Beijing, Shanghai, they're all on the
eastern east. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, Beijing's like way northeast. Shanghai is kind of straight.
So I may be misremembering, and Chengdu might have been one
Guangzhou
of the
or south.
Yeah, it might have been the farthest west we went. Is how I might be misremembering it. Yeah,
it does not feel like there's many major cities west of Chengdu.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
You get into Tibet if you go much farther west.
Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Talking about how the Winter Olympics could kind of set the tone for potentially how things could go for Worldcon, but there's still time for things to calm down. Hopefully. We'll see. I mean, it's not just, the worldwide pandemic. It's all sorts of stuff. Very interesting choice. Winnipeg was the runner-up. So
the next Worldcon, if you don't know, is going to be in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So it is going Washington, D.C., Chicago, Chengdu, like 2 U.S. in a row, and then all the way to China. In principle, I love the idea of including China and celebrating Chengdu and the great science fiction that comes out of China.
Totally,
it's just the political situation that makes it
slightly fraught,
nerve-wracking.
Yeah. All right, you're next with Jan.
Jan says, it seems we may be at the point where we move from the best books of 2021 to the most anticipated books of 2022. It's that time of year. Goodreads published their readers' most anticipated books of 2022 in the science fiction and fantasy category. We have The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan, How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu, Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi, Book of Night by Holly Black, Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mendel, Tell Me an Ending by Joe Harkin, and The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. And then Christy H. tipped us off to another most anticipated list from Tor, the 30 most anticipated sci-fi books of 2022 from Tor.
Oh, nice.
There's quite a bit of overlap in there, but there's also a lot of things on here that don't overlap, like Sarah Blake's Clean Air or Samit Basu's The City Inside, for instance.
Yeah, I've seen Goliath on a few lists, so I'm very, very curious about that one. Gosh, I really thought that
What's Goliath
Kaiju...
about?
Huh?
What is Goliath about?
Goliath is about... it might be surprising to hear that this is Tochi Onyebuchi's debut adult novel. He's so widely published in many genres and formats that Goliath seems like a natural progression. But Goliath is also a significant leveling up. In this all-too-near future, wealthier humans have begun leaving Earth in favor of domed space colonies. On Earth...
so it's sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On Earth, houses are being knocked down, and the people left behind are trying to make the best of what's left behind. Goliath weaves through different characters' perspectives, through timelines, and through memories to create a narrative of race and gentrification and economic disparity. It's a biblical retelling, but in Onyebuchi's hands, Goliath mixes inventive near-future sci-fi elements into a story that covers all shades of human emotion, the best and the worst of us.
So we should credit Tor for every word you said, because you just read
I just read
the Tor thing. Yeah.
I just read that. I didn't make that up on the spot. I just read that.
I thought you knew what it was about because
No.
you said you'd seen it on some
No.
list. Okay,
No.
sorry. I didn't mean to set
Literally
you up there.
just the cover. No, but I'm glad I caught up in time to be able to read someone else's words. So thank you for saving me. Thank you, Christina Orlando
Thank you,
from
Christina
Tor.com for making me sound
You
like I know
did it.
what the F I'm talking about. I
No, it was a
appreciate
good
it.
write-up, Christine, and well-read, Veronica.
Thank you. And then John says, last year I was introduced to the Book Riot reading log, which I found super helpful. They have produced a new one for 2022, and it can be found here. And this is What is a reading log?
Well, apparently
it's a
it was very
spreadsheet.
popular last year. Yeah. So it's a way to track and log all of the books that you read in the year. So you kind of want to do it from the beginning. So this is the time to do it.
Well, I
even have a little video tutorial if to kind of help you understand how to do the log.
Oh, this is fun, and you can do all sorts of charts and graphs and things like that. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, data nerds, you're gonna want this.
Okay, so this is like if Goodreads did all that stuff for us and gave us cool like data visualization around the stuff that we're reading instead of just making
you don't
a
have
list.
to share your information with them because this is a spreadsheet that you keep locally.
So desu ne. All right, well, interesting. Okay, I have to check that out. I don't know if I need to enter things in two places. That's my only. That's my only stopping point. Like I'm already doing that on Goodreads, and then in our Barrier Sword we have another alternative as well. So it's just like, ooh, I don't know if I need that much information. Although I have to say, I was very glad once again to Tazzy Dave and all the folks who work on the Wikia, the Sword and Laser Wikia, because I've been watching Station 11 on HBO Max, and I was like, when did I read that? And I just like looked it up on the wiki. It's like, I read it. We read it in 2015, so long ago. But it was so good. But it's little bits and pieces have been coming back to me as I watch the show, and that was a great book, great show too.
I rely on that Wikipedia regularly. When people are like, when did you read that? And I need to find out. I mean, we do it on the show quite a bit. I did The Forever War with by Joe Haldeman on Andrew Heaton's Alienating the Audience. And it was super helpful for me to be like, this is when we read it a very long time ago.
I know.
So, yeah, it's great. I am very much enjoying Station 11, even with all its differences, especially with all its differences, because it's very much remade for a television telling rather than a book telling, and I think they're capturing still the essence that makes it compelling in a different format. Also, did watch Wheel of Time.
Oh, good.
So I'm all caught up. I caught up like right as it finished.
Yeah.
So I am now hooked on that as well, and looking forward to waiting for season 2.
So you've watched. So I have finished The Witcher season 2. I finished Wheel of Time season 1, and I am caught up on Station 11. And
I'm actually a couple of episodes behind on Station 11.
Okay.
I still need to catch right up.
And then I'm caught up on The Expanse as well.
Oh, I finished The Expanse.
The show? Is the show still going?
Yes, it's still going, but sometimes you're married to someone who works for Rotten Tomatoes and you get screeners.
Annoying! All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. I was like, what do you mean? I thought I was caught up. It wasn't over yet.
You are. I'm actually rewatching. I'm watching it every week as it comes out anyway, because I like it that much.
It's been a really great season. I think this has been
a really good season.
Super good season.
And also reading Leviathan Falls, which I did over the break as well. I finished Leviathan Falls. I can't believe that series is done. But reading that, it was very fun to then watch the show and be like, but this character that isn't in Leviathan Falls is in the TV show, and, vice versa. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, let us know what you're watching. Send us a tweet at Sword and Laser. What have you thought of all the sci-fi fantasy shows on TV right now? There's a lot of them and more to come. So what are you excited about? What are you watching? What do you think of what's out there right now? All right, well, now it is time for Bury Your Sword, which is our feedback from the audience. And our old pal Drake Tungsten, Turtle is my totem, says, found 10 books on my Goodreads list via NPR's book section. Found 16 of my books via Sword and Laser Book Club. Nice.
Take that, NPR.
Booyah. Booyah, booyah.
Although I claim NPR because I was an intern there once, so I win the entire 26 books.
I guess that's true. Yeah, good job. Yeah. I'll let you read Beth
Good
Mitchum.
Job, me. Beth wrote, Aurora Rising, Alistair Reynolds. I liked the mix of comfortable tropes. He mentors the unwanted, gems of the service, evil AIs, and cool SF ideas, the Clockmaker, the Glitter Band. I hope a future book features the Pigmen.
Nice.
Beth, you're a genius at this. It's so good. I'm always impressed. You really encapsulate these books in the small amount of characters that you have.
I've never checked. Are they exactly 280 characters, or is she like a little short? Because that would be kind of cool if they were always exactly fitting.
If they're always a twoosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. That's an extra difficulty level.
I don't want to say you have to do that, but if you did do that.
But Veronica now thinks you have to do that.
I just think it'd be pretty cool. Just saying. And we mentioned earlier in the episode about an alternative potentially to Goodreads. This one comes from Justine Aurora Lee and all the places online. Hello, Tom and Veronica. Long time, first time, I think, LOL. I'm a bit behind, so I'm not sure if this has been brought up already or elsewhere. I learned about the story graph from the host of another podcast I listened to, Kaina at Historical AF. It's a really interesting Goodreads alternative. She said, this app is a Black-owned business that lets you say if you own the book, gives you graphs, and has cool reading challenges. It's at thestorygraph.com. And she goes on to say, I'm liking it because it's not owned by Amazon and it's a lot cleaner than Goodreads. It won't be a replacement for the Goodreads community yet, but it sounds like a feature they're planning for the future. And importing my Goodreads content was really easy. A detailed step-by-step was my first screen after signing up. Ooh, they're going for them. They're gunning for Goodreads with that. I love it. Anyway, if people are looking for a new or different book logging site, this could be an option. Happy New Year!
Yeah, they've talked about this on the Reading Glasses podcast, and it sounds really interesting. I've been meaning to try it out. I know it's a little limited in the features right now because it's just in its earliest years. Goodreads has been around forever, but yeah, if you are wanting an alternative to Goodreads, definitely worth checking out. Thestorygraph.com.
Yeah, I might test it out just to see as a product manager, I like to see how different sites kind of like do the same kind of thing in like different perspectives. And plus it seems like they have a pretty cool recommendation engine, which is something that I work on for Creative Cloud Express, my day job. So being able to see how other people are training and using AI to make recommendations would be pretty sick.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. Well, folks, before we jump into the wrap-up of the inheritance of Orquidea Divina, let's do a quick kickoff for the book that Tom picked for next month.
So I got this pick. Reading Glasses is going to come up twice. Sorry, folks, but it was a recommendation.
Why don't you just join their podcast, Tom?
I know, seriously. It was a recommendation on their podcast. I've also seen it on several end-of-year lists. It's Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. Rika Aoki is an English teacher at Santa Monica College and gender studies at Antioch University. Local to me here because she teaches at Santa Monica College and lives here in the Los Angeles area. And Light from Uncommon Stars is a story about aliens and demons. So it's kind of sword and laser all together. There's a violin teacher who has sold her soul to the devil and needs to deliver souls in order to be able to play the violin publicly again. So she is recruiting violin students in order to get them to trade their souls for being good at the violin. Then there's an alien family running a donut shop in the San Gabriel Valley. And of course, any more than that would be spoilers, but the paths will obviously cross. It's kind of amazing to find out why the people from outer space are running the donut shop, what they're doing there, how they and the violin story intersect. And let me just say, it is a tremendously fun novel. I'm sorry, but I already finished it. I know we're just kicking it off, but I could not stop. It was like eating a box of donuts. I just could not stop. The food descriptions in this book will make you very hungry. So try not to read this book on an empty stomach.
Oh my God, yes. I wanted to bring this up. I was going to wait for the first episode, but I have been salivating listening to the descriptions of food in this book. It is really intense and delicious.
I don't know if it's better or worse for me that I'm just a car ride away from the places she's talking about. San Gabriel Valley is in the northeast part of Los Angeles, and we do go there quite regularly to eat.
Yeah.
I don't think she's described any of the places I ate at, and I know not all of the places are real, although I suspect many of them
Some
are
of them
based
must
on
be,
real
right?
places. Yeah. And I would like to investigate that more in person.
Yes, very carefully.
With my chopsticks and a bowl.
Oh my gosh.
And my stomach. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, this book is really fun. It's really sweet and beautiful and thoughtful. Really great discussions and thought-provoking on about gender and
yeah. I don't mean to make it feel like this book is about food, because it's not. That's like a side.
It's like just a
that's
nice
just
benefit.
a side benefit.
Yeah.
Of a very compelling and very complex story that is well told.
Yeah, there's so much. It's very dense with cool information and characterization, and the world building is really great as well. Even though it's like our real, but it's our world rather, but there's a lot of other things happening surrounding us. Yeah.
We always hesitate to give trigger warnings because we don't want to give one and not give another, and then have somebody misled into thinking that something wasn't there that was. So, but I would say look up the trigger warnings for this, especially at the beginning. There are a few, and you should if you are someone who is concerned about that, you should check this out beforehand, just to know what you're getting into. But if it's not something that you look at and go like, okay, as long as I know it's coming, I'm all right. It's not egregious. It's not, and it's certainly motivated. And the story evolves to a point that I think redeems the I can't really say anything without being spoilery.
Okay.
But it's not. Gosh, how do you say anything? I
think you've said enough. I think you said what you needed to say.
It's not egregious.
Yeah,
and it's motivated, and it fits into the story. So yeah, I think that's probably good.
Well said. Right there. Great book so far. I'm more than halfway through at this point with the audiobook. I'm loving the audiobook. So if you're looking for something to listen to as well, I think the audiobook is really well done. But regardless, check it out. Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. Okay, well, let's wrap up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's happening already. Let's wrap up The Inheritance of Orquidea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. And man, this book was great. This was a super interesting read. Just off the top, what did you think? Did you enjoy it, Tom?
Yes. Despite my hand wringing when last we met, about whether this is actually fantasy or magical realism, and my thoughts about those thoughts, and the fact that the author says absolutely fantasy, and I enjoyed it. It was great. I thought it was moody. Right, this isn't a fun, lighthearted read, but it's deep, it's rich, and it's textured, and I really, really enjoyed following the story. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very much the same. I loved Marimar, I loved Ray, I loved and Rhiannon, I loved the characters, I loved how interesting it was that there was, we are going to be spoilery, by the way, this is a wrap up for those of you who are new in case you haven't read this book yet.
Oh, right, we should make that clear.
And yeah, I never felt like it wasn't fantasy, personally. I felt like it was, deeply rooted in fantastical. Get it? Deeply rooted. Get it? Because she turns into a tree and she has roots.
Because literally becomes a tree for most of the story.
Because roots,
except for in the flashbacks.
There was magic. There was like a touch of. I was going to say sci-fi, but it's not really sci-fi because he's kind of like a celestial, which is more. Yeah. More fantastical.
He's from space.
He's from space.
But he's magical space.
Magical space.
So maybe space opera
angel-like,
more than sci-fi? Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And then there's...
He's not of this world. Maybe that's a better way.
Right. And then there's just the magic that Orquidea has herself. And yeah, I I just thought the characters were really great and really fleshed out very well. It was frustrating that Orquidea couldn't tell them what was going on. That was definitely the frustrating part, that they had to go through this whole figuring out what the backstory was in order to understand.
Although
what
that
was
the
them.
fun of the mystery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was fine. I would give it, if I had to give it stars, I would give it 4 stars. Like, I really enjoyed it. The audiobook for me was the best part. Like, I loved the narration of the audiobook and the voice acting in that. And I loved the family story, like thinking about not coming from a big family. It was kind of cool to hear about what it would be like to have such a massive family and people that had been through so much with you. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No. On the point of the family, though, it on the one hand reminded me in some ways of my father's family, because his father was born in 1883. And so there's that ancient aspect of Orquidea Divina's roots. And obviously, my father came from Southern Illinois, not from
Ecuador,
outside the country, but the era. There's some commonality there in the era and the thinking and sort of that getting on a ship to go places aspect. So her relationship to her family reminded me in some ways of my father's, and then the modern family absolutely reminded me a lot of my wife's family.
Oh, interesting.
She comes from a big immigrant family. They're Filipino, not Latin American, but still that sort of immigrant experience and the large family and the way people interact and drift apart and pull back together. So there was definitely I was catching little bits of my actual experience here. And I liked the flashback. I liked that we were getting Orquidea's story and then moving into the future, trying to uncover why it ended up the way it did. It was one of those beautiful things where how it ends, but you still want to know how you got there. Right. You got spoiled in the book. Like, oh, guess what? She turns into a tree. We already know this, but why? Why did she turn into a tree? Why did she leave her country? That's where the story is in the details and in the journey. And I really enjoyed how that was told. I'm
trying to find the family tree that was posted in one of our threads earlier, because I thought that was super cool. Let me see if I can find it. Family tree, because that was a helpful way. Oh, here it is. Yes, it's on the author's website.
Yeah, I think it was in our show notes last month too.
There we go. Oh, and there's a playlist too on need to open this in a new tab. Okay, now I can zoom in on it so I can actually see it.
It's good radio.
The one thing, thanks. The one thing I was kind of sad about is I wanted to learn more about her husbands and how she met all her husbands.
Oh, Yeah. They did sort of give short shrift, she had 500. She killed them all. Well,
she didn't kill them.
Murder them, but they all died. So.
Yeah, there was not a lot of explanation into that.
She outlived them.
So I would have liked a little more background on how she met all the husbands. I think I could put
2 and 2 together, but like we were saying, the fun is in the telling of the story. So it would be a nice. I don't know, short story thing or something.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to know that too.
So we had Felix, who was one of the husbands. We had Luis. We had Pedro, Bolivar, Londoño, and then we had Hector, Caleb, and Martin. Mm-hmm. And who's that? Okay, anyway, that's a different husband. That's her stepfather. So yeah, that was, I think the saddest part for me was Tatanelli and Michael Sullivan both dying. I found that so shocking that Tatanelli died, protecting them. That was, super sad. And Rhiannon was left kind of orphaned.
With any good story, you need stakes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that was one of the aspects of that. But I saw him dying. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit surprised that she did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were stakes. I mean, a lot of people died. A lot of their family members had already died. I'm not trying to laugh. I'm just saying, like, it felt like the stakes had been well covered. But yeah. So overall, all right, let's see what people thought. Jumping into the conversation. So Seth,
I was trying to take us into Seth's comment earlier when I was talking about the way the flashbacks are told, because Seth doesn't agree with me, does he?
No, not quite. He says, so it isn't much of a spoiler, all things considered, but Orquidea dies. This happens long before we have any reason to sympathize with them at all. Most of their story occurs long after this, page-wise, because the author decides to mash up the past and the present. This means that the author can keep the tension of just who the bad guy is until right up at the end of the book. I suppose this adds some tension to the book, but I also think it robs the emotion from what is the central event of the story. Would it have been a better story if it had been told more linearly?
See, I think I find fault with your premise, Seth, that is the central event of the book. And in fact, I feel like the ending underlines that and said her death is not the central event of the book. The central event of the book is the family discovering the truth of her life, and she had to die for them to do that.
Right. I think almost the biggest event is kind of the climax, is when she comes back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Upon discovery of all this thing, of it all coalescing together at the end.
And if you hadn't had her die, well, you can't bring her back, right?
Right. Yeah, and as we said in the beginning, if you can't have her die, then there's no reason for them to go looking for the truth. And there was so much that needed to be learned. But most people said they didn't mind it too much.
Seth says later in the thread that maybe he was just disappointed with the ending rather than the way the story was told, and that perfectly legitimate. We all interpret things differently. Seth says, "I'm probably just searching for the reason I felt a little unsatisfied at the end." So
that's fair. Yeah, totally fair. Yeah. All right, and then we have a note from my other article went away. But this is about the audiobook. Yeah, Joyce says, I really loved the audiobook, which is narrated by Frankie Corzo. This especially helped with all the Spanish names, of which I am terrible at. I feel you, girl. It also made it very lyrical sounding. Trying to figure out foreign names while reading always takes me out of the story. I did take a peek at how they spelled by borrowing the print edition from the library as well. Oh, very cool. It also helped me keep everyone in order of the family. I didn't expect it that much in the beginning of the book. Then Orquidea turned into a tree, and then I knew I was going to be in for a ride. I loved it once stuff started happening.
Yeah, I listened to the audio book of this as well, and I agree with Joyce and Lisa and Tina and Terp Kristen, who all agreed that Frankie Corzo did a great job.
Yeah. And a lot of people said they were kind of like, the narrator helped them stay engaged with a book that they otherwise might have.
Wonder if that would have helped Seth.
Fascinating. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that can definitely be true. A lot of people can be taken out by, sometimes books are hard to get into, or at least get started with, and a good narrator can really just pull you into the story and make it a lot easier sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, I've sort of developed this scale of like, do I make myself read it? Do I read it regularly? Do I find time to read it, or do I devour it? This went from a reading it regularly, not a problem. Enjoyed reading it when I read it. As it picked up, as we got closer to the mystery, to the end, it became a fine time to read it. I started to be like, you know what, I think I want to get a little more of Orquidea. I want to find out where this is going. So it definitely, this for me anyway, pulled me in, and I think the audiobook performance was a part of that. It definitely helps with the mood. If you're someone who has a difficulty, reading non-English words and phrases and names and stuff, that can be a stumbling block, and an audiobook might help with that.
I have to say, I'm already making my house is very clean thanks to light from uncommon stars. Like extremely clean.
So you're finding reasons to read it,
and I'm
not just seeking out time to read it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Lots of hand washing dishes and bottles.
Yeah, Light from Uncommon Stars. I just read it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to sit here. I didn't even need to find things to do anymore. I was like, I'm just going to sit here and read this book. I played solitaire, honestly.
Nice.
To like keep my eyes, occupied while I just listened to the story. It was great.
And then finally, we have a post from Adrian who says, this is a little off topic, but have you seen Disney's latest animated movie of Encanto? It totally reminded me of Orquidea's house and how it was magical and gives out powers to the main family. And the grandma, Abuela,
nice.
in the movie is totally Orquidea.
Okay, cool.
I've been waiting to see this.
Genesee completely agrees.
Yeah. I'm stoked. I've been meaning to watch this for a while now, since it came out. So it gives me
Came
even
out
more.
in November, I think. Yeah.
Did it come out all the way back in November? Wow.
Yeah, it's been out for a little bit, but
That's okay. I'll get there.
There's so many things to watch.
I know.
As we mentioned earlier.
Lots of good stuff. All right, everybody. Well, that about wraps up our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Our show is currently entirely funded by you, our patrons. Thank you so much to all the folks who back our show. If you want to help us support us, if you want to help support us, got to keep me in wine so I can talk good on the show. Oh my gosh. Head over to patreon.com/swordandlaser.
You can also support the show by buying books through our links. Find links to the books we talk about and some of our favorites at swordandlaser.com/picks.
Send us an email, feedback@swordandlaser.com. We are on Instagram and Twitter @swordandlaser. And all of our discussions happen over on goodreads.com/swordandlaser. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, chat room. Adios. Hasta luego.
Adios.
Vaya con Dios.
Hasta mañana.
Tom, have you offered Veronica a post in your shadow cabinet?
Oh, right. Drake Tungsten did nominate you as Minister of Wine.
Oh, that's right. What is the shadow cabinet?
Well, the whole thing started. I was reading one of the UK stories about the shadow. The shadow cabinet is always the party that's out of power. So you have the Prime Minister and the Chancellor and the Ministry of the Interior and Home Secretary and all that stuff. And then the opposing party appoints ministers for all the positions in the cabinet, so that if they were to take over, they would immediately have people to move into those positions.
I see.
And so they have a shadow cabinet, like it's not the real cabinet. And so I'm like, why do they the only ones that get to have a shadow cabinet? I want to have my own shadow cabinet.
But what is your what are these positions for?
Andrew Heaton is Minister of Scotch.
Okay.
I didn't want to split Andrew Mayne and Brian Brushwood, so they are both Minister of Magic. But there is only one Minister of Magic, and the way they're able to do that is magic.
It's magic. Got it. Okay. Well, I'd be honored just be invited.
Oh, yeah. Justin Robert Young there's a position usually called the Foreign Secretary. So for my cabinet, Justin Robert Young is the Foreigner Secretary. He's in charge of all of our Foreigner albums.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you could pick a cabinet position, Veronica. We've known each other long enough. That's how politics works, right? Mm-hmm. It's connections. So name the position you want. It's yours.
Oh, I don't know.
Minister of Naps.
I know. I'm really tired. Sorry. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this. Yeah, Minister of Wine seems too odd. Minister of Whining. That seems mean.
Minister of Wine and Wine.
I just dunked on myself. Minister of Tiny Wines. That's a good one, Mutt. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What should we call this episode?
I don't know. We should call this episode Frank.
Nah.
Dying is not a spoiler.
Tree of Husbands.
Tree of Husbands. That's intriguing. That's a good name for a book.
That is a good name for a book. It's the follow-up. Tamahome's pushing to get 2 episodes in a row after Pillow Friends.
Mm-hmm.
No, which nobody understood because it has no meaning. Pillow Friends.
Linear is not better always. And I intentionally switched the last 2 words so that they're non-linear.
Oh my god.
Congratulations, Murderbot.
Donut hole. Oh, it's too soon for donut holes.
I'm hungry. Yeah, it's too. We got to save the hungry.
Dead Family Trees. That's a good one. Dead Family Trees.
That is a good one, Prosecco.
That is a good one. Okay, I like Dead Family Trees.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. It's dark.
Done.
I like it. It's dark. I taught my baby to go like.
How is your baby?
He goes. He goes more like.
Did he use all his fingers?
He's hilarious. Yeah, he's hilarious. He can't say bodega, so he says, he goes, Bataga! Bataga!
Oh, that's pretty
Bataga!
That's pretty good. Uh-huh.
He whispers it. He goes, Tataga! Tataga!
What does bodega do? Just look at him like,
just,
do you have any food?
She just, yeah. She quietly tolerates. And he goes, uh-oh. And he goes, like, the best.
That is the best. He's going to be talking soon, and then he's going to be putting on concerts, and
oh my gosh, the funniest thing. So nobody says this to him, so I don't know where he got this from, unless our nanny says it to him. But he started going in the clearest words, no, no, no. No, no, no. Like, he just said that to me last night. And, like, not like, no, no, no. He was like, no, no, no. And I was like, what? I've never said that to you. Who was saying that to you?
Maybe he... I don't know. That does seem like something you wouldn't.
It's got to be the nanny, right?
Yeah,
like, maybe. She's probably doing it without even realizing it,
and probably doesn't do it when you're in earshot,
right?
Right?
Yeah,
just for whatever reason.
But it's the clearest. So it's the clearest thing he's ever said, and it cracks me up. You're like, no, no, no. Like, what?
Is your nanny a woman?
Yes.
Oh, so you can't have the manny.
Can't have a manny, no.
No.
She's not a manny. Okay. She's been out all week because she was, what's the word? Exposed. So I've been doing full-time childcare.
She didn't test positive, but she had been in contact.
Yeah. With two people. So... Mm-hmm. She came back on Monday, and then from break, having been exposed, and we had known it and tested, and then she got a call about another exposure on that day. So she had to leave in the middle of the day. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's
rough.
Thankfully, it does not seem to be as serious as Delta or previous versions, and there are so many more treatments. I had a friend whose parents both got it, and her mom just is sort of like never gets sick, so her mom went to the emergency room and they gave her the antibody treatment and she's fine.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like only a matter of time. I don't want the little guy to get it, you know? It's going to suck.
No, because you never want... It's never fun for babies to get any sickness, no matter what.
Yeah, he's had one cold and that was a nightmare.
They don't know how to tell you. Yeah.
So, okay. All righty. On that note, I'm going to stop the stream. Goodbye, chat room. Thank you again for joining us.
Goodbye. Thanks, y'all.
I know. Prosecco says wait until daycare. I know. It's like I hear that it's like every other week. They're sick.
Little petri dishes.
Oh. All right. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.